Okay, let's get a little quick audio test, make sure everything's up and running just dandy. Okay, sounds like we got audio, friends. Awesome. Okay, rocking and rolling. Another jam session ready to get rolling. All right. Cool. Okay, welcome to the storyboard jam session. Get my glasses here. Boom, there I am. Hey, how y'all doing tonight? Hope you're having a fantastic night. It's Saturday night, and I appreciate you joining and hanging out on the live stream with me this evening. If you're just joining in, give it a couple minutes here before we get started. I'm just cleaning off my glasses here so I can see what I'm doing. But if you're joining in with the live stream, please drop your name in the chat so I know who's hanging out with me tonight. And appreciate you spending time out of your busy Saturday hanging out with old Polly here. And tonight we're going to be having some fun. There we go. Cool. And we're going to be having some fun. We're talking about facial gestures for your storyboards. And hanging out. I got my buddy Maria. How you doing? Hello to you. Appreciate you joining in with the chat. I'll give it a couple more minutes here. And we'll get started on our storyboarding with facial gestures. I think it's super important to know how to do. But how's it going, Maria? Everything going well with you? Hope you're having a great evening. And hey, I had a question for you, Maria. Where are you located? Are you in the California, LA area or somewhere else? Just curious. I'm coming to you from the East Coast and over here from Pennsylvania. And hanging out. Hey, my buddy Eric Yamamoto. Hey, how's it going, Eric? Good to see you. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for jumping on. We're just giving it a couple minutes here to get everybody going on here and get started. But before we get started, I'm going to drop my contact information here real quick and talk about what we're doing with this YouTube channel. With this channel, I created this channel. I started it a little over 3 months ago. We're going on about 3.5 months ago, and I'm trying to create this as a resource for a. Okay, so Southern California for you, Maria. Awesome, cool. Yeah, I used to work down there a lot. I'm originally from California, from Northern Bay Area, and I've been out here I think 12, 13 years now, and but we'll eventually be heading back home again soon. So we'll see what happens. And then Eric's all, I don't know how you do it, man. I'm so tired. Well, hey, listen, I don't know. I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I got my pot of coffee here. I'm ready to get rolling, and I have fun doing these things. But I appreciate Eric and Maria for joining in. I know we just all got together last night on your live stream, Eric. Really great stuff, man. Really appreciate you taking the time and bringing on Josh. And bringing on that friendship onto the live stream, and you guys going back and forth, jiving and jamming together, coming up with some fantastic material there. I look forward to see where you guys go with that particular storyline. That was pretty cool stuff. New to me and introduced me to a couple things too. So fantastic to see you doing that. So keep going and keep doing those live streams, Eric. Good stuff. So we got our core team hanging out on both live streams. I love it. So it's cool. But I created this YouTube channel. I had a lot of people come up to me and ask, hey, Paul, we knew you used to teach college and things like that. And, we would love you to start teaching again. And so I put my thinking cap on and said, hey, I'm going to create this YouTube channel. Eric and I talked a lot too. So, I took it as a personal challenge to keep myself consistent in terms of the work I am doing, and come to you 3 days a week. And I have this sort of channel I've created and I think about, and I put myself back into how did I get started in storyboarding, visual storytelling, how did I get my creative abilities, those type of things. And I use this channel as a place for you at home to sort of, I share my journey and my continuous journey, and also my particular processes of how I teach art and how I do my art, and build that up. I've gotten the opportunity to meet fantastic people like Maria, Eric, and so many other people that have been joining into the live stream. So I'm trying to create this as a resource and tool, to help other folks that I remember. Because when I started back in the day, there wasn't a lot of stuff out there. You watched a Channel 9 documentary of how they made Return of the Jedi, or the behind the scenes, the BTS early days of BTS, watching how Raiders of the Lost Ark was made. I went to a school that wasn't an animation school. I had to personally, teach myself how to do hand-drawn animation, to how to draw comics, and my sort of focus was more on filmmaking, video production, theater, and those type of things, with a few art classes sprinkled in there, here and there. I know I took a great pencil class by Corbin Lapel back in the day. Corbin did a lot of fantastic artwork. Maybe that's why I like somebody like Robert McGinnis in his work. He created the actual, if you've ever seen like the Batman, sort of the Joker card, the original lithograph of the Joker card. He was one of he was the artist who created that, and he was my graphite drawing instructor. And then I had some fantastic painting teacher that I took a lot of her work and worked with her, and a lot of art history and things like that. But most of my stuff was based on the emergence of computer technologies, and starting off in animation. And I sit there and I go, wow. And I was talking to one of my buddies that we worked together back in the early 90s on a comic book series called Reflux, and we've caught up all these years later, and gosh, that was like, almost 25. I mean, it's going to be like 25, 30 years later, and yeah, about 25 years later, and we were just chatting on LinkedIn the other day. It's crazy how time flies, and you had all these projects that you were working on together back in the day. So, but good stuff. But I want this to be a resource for you at home, either if you can catch this live, which I appreciate everybody hanging out with me live, or if you're catching this on the replay, appreciate you spending the time sharing with me, and hopefully I can create some great value for you in terms of your passion for visual storytelling, whether you're trying to become a storyboard artist, either for live action, feature, cartoon animation, music videos, and through this this live stream and through this YouTube channel, I'll start sharing some of my filmography and the films I've worked on and directed, and music videos I've created and stuff like that, and sort of how did I go through the process, on those different things on top of what I'm currently pursuing right now. So use this as a resource. I'm coming to you weekly, 3 times a week. I'm here to provide you with tutorials and how-tos. And I know Eric and we've been talking about it in the past, but we're going to have to get in and do it and have sort of an interview time, because I know Eric's full of a wealth of information. And, I'll probably invite Eric to come on to this particular channel, and I know we were talking about doing some things in the future too, so to have some fun together and share more with you folks at home, and help you guys out. So I'm coming to you 3 times a week. Let me pull up that slide real quick. So on Tuesdays, I have a fun day with that. Tuesdays is our storyboarding, the mastering, cause Tuesdays is storyboarding, mastering the basics. And with that particular programming on Tuesdays, we sort of hang out, and it's your how-to, it's your tutorial type session. It's me showing my processes of how I go about, storyboarding and different ways of visual storytelling. I know I've talked about how to get into storyboarding. Last week we were just talking about what were the big 6, 7 steps of what makes a full-rounded storyboard artist, and those type of things. We've talked about my sort of cheats and tricks on how to storyboard. I've also spoken about from writing a screenplay myself. I think I wrote 3 or 4 pages of a short screenplay, and then we showed how to create the shot list. We went into how do we do our research from there, how do we create our thumbnails, how do we do our roughs, and then a variety of different final steps there for our final completion for our sequence, whether if the director or client wants line art, black and white, tone or value, or even full color. Maybe it's a bunch of storyboard beats for a particular commercial. So we went through all those different things, and have some fun with that in terms of what you're doing. So then on Thursdays, I think it is super important to sketch. If you're already sketching, Maria, thanks so much. I did get your sketches. Fantastic stuff to see you drawing there based on our silhouette study that we did on Thursday. But I think it is super important to get your sketchbook and draw every single day. I draw every single day, not just for work, but I draw just for pleasure. And I do a lot of master studies. I'm always studying all the time. Everybody says, well, how do you have such a unique style, or how do you get your style? It's just all those countless pencil miles. It's like doing your reps, getting your sketchbook and doing your reps every day. And when I'm on breaks and things like that, or a lunch break, I'll bring my, like I did a quick, what do you call it, YouTube short. Sometimes I'll throw it on my Instagram channel, just stuff I'm just drawing during lunchtime. Sometimes I'll do some deeper studies where I'll find a particular artist that I love their work, and I'm trying to learn, how they're either working with perspective or different character designs or simplification or whatever it might be. I tend to, a lot of the folks I do like a lot of modern comic artists and things like that. Right now I like big on like Sean Gordon Murphy, but also a lot of my style and my taste goes back to classics. Pepe Gonzalez, who did all the ink work and drawings for the Vampirilla, or illustrator like Robert McGuinness. There's a lot of influence. John Buscema, Toth. There's all different artists. Even to some of the more stylized artists that grab my fascination at time, whether it be Paul Dini or Shane Glines, something like that. Hal Foster back in the day, Tarzan, Flash Gordon, Joe Kubert. There's just a lot of different folks through my time, having been in comics and things like that, that sort of flex with me. But I think it's super important to sit down and draw every day, whether if you're doing cafe sketches, you're doing master studies. There's a fantastic story artist, Sashin, out there, who's taken upon themselves to just go and they draw every frame of a particular film. I believe he did every frame from Terminator 2, and then he also is currently working on Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I mean, he's literally drawing line art of every single shot within the film, and it helps you to learn. We call it reverse storyboarding, and it's a great way to learn too. But the final thing we do is days like today, we have our jam sessions, and this is my Saturday storyboard jam session. And I usually pick a topic. I'm not really, I don't have a script or anything. I'm just sort of having a jam session. Like if we're playing bass and drums and different instruments, and we're just sort of jamming, making this giant soup, having fun, chilling out. We've done everything from during Halloween. We did all sorts of horror, from the Loch Ness Monster to the Headless Horseman to vampires. I think we've done Jaws, demonic dolls, something like you'd see from a Blumhouse production. We've done car chases, like from the Steve McQueen movie Bullet. We've done Alien, from Ridley Scott's film. We've done Gladiator. I think a few shows back we did the TV Prime, the Amazon Prime show, Reacher, and then last week we did on a roller derby. So I'm still playing around with that right now. But that's what I'm bringing to you Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So I appreciate you joining and hanging out with me. Let's go over to the chat real quick and then we'll get started. Okay, so yeah, Eric, lots of work, man. I try to keep the passion and keep the pump going on. I got a lot of good friends out here that want to see some great stuff, so I could keep contributing. Yeah, it's crazy, Eric, man. It's, between your channel and my channel, just a great group of people that want to learn. They want to learn storyboarding. They want to learn visual storytelling. A lot of you folks out there, I know, either want to get into storyboarding, they want to be able to draw their own pictures for their own writings or their own scripts. Others are comic book artists. Others are in video games. Others are in a lot of animation folks. So I'm looking forward to sort of swapping over, and going more cartoon style and showing, studies on doing character where we have to stick on pose and stick on character sheets and those type of things. We'll have some fun with that. But yeah, it's grazing. Yeah, no, it's funny. You were Eric was just saying that's so cool. You reconnected with your reflex fence. Yeah, yeah. He ended up my buddy, fantastic artist himself. He was actually a bookmaker. He was one of the first people back in the day that taught me how to use Macromedia Director and how to code with it. We worked together at a company called Inverse Inc. And I remember I was still full time in school trying to finish my bachelor's degree, and I was offered the producer position, and I said no. And so I took an animation position instead, and did two volumes. It was an interactive comic book in which we took fight sequences from old kung fu movies and then reformatted them with a new storyline, and it was pretty much a pre-Matrix type of Matrix storyline where you jacked in and you plugged in the back of your head and you went into a virtual reality, which is this kung fu reality, and your avatar were these kung fu warriors, and it was pretty cool. I got to spin off and got hired on to do my own comic, in which that was my first time to hire the whole crew and have some fun with it. And my buddy and I, we were working together on this project too, and we had a lot of fun with it. And unfortunately, we were working with Jackie Chan in Drunken Master 2, using the fight sequences from there, but there was a little hiccup in the legal documentation from Golden Harvest Communications at the time, and they ended up, stopping the project. But we got a few pages of the book done and made a lot of great friendships for life from that particular project. But I have the original, some of the original artwork and the original demo and stuff like that from the game. It was fun. It was a lot of fun to write, and got to write my first comic screenplay and everything. So it was just a joy to do. So it's great to hook up with people that you had worked with so closely, and over the years to finally catch back up again. It was cool. So, and then yeah, Eric, yeah, anytime, man. We'll hook up and we'll chat offline. See what we can do. YouTube question: what happens when you go past 500 subscribers? Well, 500 subscribers is a cool goal to hit. That gives you access. I believe it might even be before that, where you can actually do posts. And you'll be able to. I haven't used that function yet. I might look at sort of like your Instagram posts. You can do. You can put a post of your future video. You can put a post of like what do you call it? Like a poll. You can ask questions, this type of thing. It's very Instagram-y that way. And I think the big thing is once you get past 500 subscribers, I believe you need 3 videos updated in the last 30 or 90 days and 3,000 hours of watch time. Then you're able to create what they call, I guess, a membership through your channel, so you can open it up to memberships, sort of like YouTube's competition to like Patreon or something like that. You're able to do special icons, that type of thing, with that too. People are able to donate to you via your channel during your live stream. Super chats. So if somebody had a big question or wanted to go into something in detail, they would do a super chat. Here in a sense, consider it like a tip. and sort of go from there. And we're getting pretty close to that, but not quite there yet. And then with YouTube, for folks, it's 1,000 subscribers with over 4,000 hours of watch time. You're able to partake in the AdSense sharing or advertising revenue sharing with YouTube, who are currently putting ads on material like this, or what you see right now, Eric, on your live stream. There should be ads on it when other people are watching. Yes, and custom emojis. Yeah, you get. So if I would assume if you have a special emoji for yourself, so when you pop up, it's it's there for you too. So it takes a little while to do, but yeah, feel free, Eric. I'm home tomorrow, and I think on Wednesday and stuff. But yeah, let's definitely hook up, man, and talk about this further. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions and help you out. And so I appreciate everybody joining in. If this is the first time you're joining in, drop your name in the chat. Appreciate you being here. And if you're watching this on the replay, I really appreciate you taking the time. Subscribe to the channel. It helps to support me in terms of my passion and helping you. And it helps let me know that you're interested in this material. Keep going, Polly. Come on, keep going. There's plenty of room for everybody. Everybody has a different way of looking at things. I think it's a great way. I know Eric does a lot of things his style. I do my things my style, but we do a lot of things that are comparable of what we do. And it's like it's a great community of like-minded folks, and I love Eric's work, and I think he's a fantastic storyboard artist. And please check out his channel if you haven't checked it out. But a lot of us are all hanging out together. So Maria says, Paul, I have a suggestion to get to 1K subs. You too, Eric. Videos non-live are also very important. Yeah, already in the works, Maria. So I hope to have it done soon. I need to get a haircut or something. I'm just like, oh man. I was doing some testing on the video side and getting in front of the camera, and we'll I think a little bit slimmer version of what we're doing in a short form. But I appreciate the suggestion, and I will follow up with that with you. And good stuff. Yeah, because I think there's we have these long conversations. I like having the live streams. I would assume Eric feels the same way too. It's just like I like the interaction that we can have, and you can drop a note in the chat or whatever, and we can go back and forth too. With the video, it's very like, here's the video, but also at the same time, if you're here to learn, give me the meat and potatoes, Polly, and that helps out too. So I look forward to bringing that. So let me know and what you think once I launch out. Hopefully we can get something out before the end of the month. And Maria, let me know what you think once that goes live. So cool. If you want to get in touch with me, folks and friends out there, let me throw up my card here. You can reach me. Again, my name is Paul Angeli. I am a live action storyboard artist. You can reach me either a business inquiry or you want to get in touch. My email is mr.paul.angeli@gmail.com. And you can reach me on my website, which is www.paulangeli.com. And you can sort of get a preview here of my website here. You can check that out at any time. I'll be updating that shortly. And then also you can get a hold of me on Instagram. Drop me a line. I know Maria shared her artwork with me, and I was happy to share it out so people could see your fantastic artwork that you're creating based on the live streams. But look me up on Instagram and link it to my name, Paul Angeli. And please get in touch, and appreciate that. Plus you got the YouTube channel here. Throw a like and drop a note so it helps to support the channel as well. Okay, let's turn off Big Polly and go to Little Polly, and let's get rocking on some facial expressions. Boop. There we go. Boom. In Little Polly mode. Okay, so I think it's, I see it a lot too. We have a lot of flat images, and I think it's, we've talked about all different types of shots. We've talked about extreme wide shots, where an extreme wide shot, we're trying to introduce you to a new environment. We're trying to, and you usually see that in something like the Ridley Scott's Alien, or you're watching this new Netflix show, Rebel Moon, or you're watching something like Star Wars or Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, you need those extreme wide shots to invite your audience into this new world, and you're doing your world building. You look at Blade Runner 2049, and you have all the fields, the farmland, the future farmland, as Ryan Gosling's character is flying through these fields, and you're trying to establish mood and tempo, and what is the world that we're, sometimes it's space, and we have a variety of different shots that we use as storyboarders, whether it be an extreme wide shot, full shot, where we see the character in all their glory and their body language and gesture and those type of items. And then you go to either a mid shot or a close-up or an extreme close-up. So you sort of go, and then you're moving the camera in different ways. Are you tilting? Are you panning? Or are you tracking? What's the shot that you're trying to utilize? But we're sort of going to be focusing on that close-up, and the close-up is that shot which you pretty much, it's usually the head in profile, 3/4 or whatever, and that's where the acting is happening. When you're doing a full shot, you're going to see the whole body language of the character. You're going to see their clothing. What is the Empress wearing? What is the Vampire Queen's wings expand out, or whatever it might be? Some cool stuff. But the close-up is going to give you the window to the soul of your character. And and that's where the true acting, whether it's an emotion of sadness, joy, or maybe subtext. What is that character thinking? And we're trying to tell a story through those images. And here's one that I drew up for our thumbnail over here for today. And I have this sort of character that I'm sort of looking at, and she's got sort of an attitude and stuff like that. So I'm going to pose a question to you friends out there. It's like, do you draw in facial gestures when you're drawing, whether you're just drawing for fun or drawing in general? Do you think about that as you're putting in your facial gestures and what you're trying to do? Okay, let me take a sip of my coffee, and let's start drawing, friends. And then don't forget, let me take this sip of coffee real quick. Cool. So I was talking to one of our friends here on the channel, Andreas. And Andreas, I always think of Andreas when I think about when I'm doing these sort of drawing and these studies and things like that, is take this information and use this as a sample. If you need to sort of copy what I'm drawing on the screen, fantastic, go for it. But make it your own. Explore. Use these live sessions as a way to sort of take some notes, whether it be visual notes or some notes and storytelling, to bring back. And so when you're sketching in your sketchbook, or you're drawing particular character designs and those type of things, that you can sort of reference this, but make it your own. If I'm drawing a woman, draw something else. If you love drawing animals, put human characteristics into those animals. Make that when I'm looking at that picture of that hyena that I'm drawing, how do I make that picture of that hyena look like he's thinking? There's something going on behind the eyes. What's going on other than the typical stuff that we would see? But everything goes back to basic language of drawing. So let's get a new layer on here. And you guys have probably seen this before many times. And it's like you have your, let me shrink this down a little bit, get this down here, make sure we can see everything. Very cool. So Maria was saying, I don't think about it, but ready to learn. Awesome. So you're sitting there going, okay, and so if I'm drawing a storyboard, and let's talk about the basics of storyboards, right? Because we've talked about it many times. We're not looking for this fantastic illustration. We're not looking for a Leonardo da Vinci or a Michelangelo painting, even though, we'll see those qualities of work. We see some, you'll see the final, the art of book of whatever it might be, Guardians of the Galaxy, Puss in Boots or whatever, and you see these fantastic storyboards, and you're like, oh my God, but most of the time it's simplified in a lot of ways, and those final sort of storyboards are sort of for the book, not necessarily what they're using. It depends on how they're going about it. What I might be doing for a commercial might be different than what I'm doing for live action, which might be different than if I was working on a feature animation or a cartoon or something like that. But I think it's great to have. It's sort of like having, when you're learning gesture. It's super important, that you're studying gesture drawings, and we'll go over gesture drawings in the future. We're focused on facial expressions. And you sit there and go, well, when am I going to use a facial expression in terms of my storyboards? And you're going to be using it a lot for that close-up shot. Okay, so we're going to be using that for that close-up shot. Like we were talking about before, it's the window to the soul of the character. It's like, why? Because you got the eyes, you got those eyes looking in there, and if those eyes are looking, you're looking into that close-up shot. And there's a lot of story that we can tell through those gestures. So for example, let's just draw a panel here. Let's get a little bit better line there. Okay, so if I'm drawing a panel or a shot here, let's open that up a little bit, friends. If I put a little bit of dynamic, let me throw another layer in there, stuff in there. Let's see, add some secret sauce in here. So if we have a close-up shot, okay, and I have this character here, I want to sort of look at her and just be like, what is she thinking? She's looking over here. What is that character thinking? How can I work with her? In terms of that, and it's sort of like when you see a character just looking off into the distance, and you have a lot of facial things going on between the eyebrows, the eyes. So you have the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Usually we talk with our hands. So we see a lot of gesture just in that face. And if she's over here, there's a lot of story that we can tell with a particular character. A lot of folks, when they're drawing boards, they leave it sort of flat, and it looks very one-dimensional. And the reason why I wanted to start small, meaning let's work on facial expressions today, then we can go into body language on another live stream or another video. Because a lot of people, they go and they draw their character, and it's very flat. If I'm drawing a male character or something like that. And if I draw it almost exactly the same, and everything is sort of symmetrical, terms of how I'm drawn. I was thinking of the actor Danny Trejo. I always see him on Instagram all the time, and he was in the what is it, El Mariachi. We've seen him in everything, but Danny Trejo. But if I just draw a character design of a shot, it's pretty flat. We want that character to show some emotion, you know, and instead of this flat surface of sort of my rendition of Danny Trejo, what can we do with that? How can we draw that differently to have that character, so give it more three-dimension, give it more expression, you know, make it look a little different. Maybe I might go to a 3/4 shot or something for that close up. So let's grab, we'll put a side-by-side comparison type of thing here. Never gotten a chance to meet Danny Trejo, but that'd be sort of fun. I was just watching the, what was it, the second of the Bodyguard's Wife, or with Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson and Salma Hayek. I was watching that the other day with the family, and I was a big fan of Robert Rodriguez when he came out with his films there. So let's start to do a duplicate layer here. Let's go side by side. Move that there. Okay, so we got okay, Danny Trejo there. So let's draw that one more time here. Okay, you get in there, Danny. Stay there. Okay, so we got this there. So let's dynamically change that a little bit. Let's get some emotion and things like that. And I'll show you a couple ways, some cheats and things like that to help you. If you're just jumping onto the live stream, my name is Paul Angeli. I'm a live action storyboard artist, and I appreciate you joining in and watching the live stream. If you're new to the channel and haven't announced yourself, just do me a quick fave. I'd appreciate it. Just let me know you're hanging out with us. Type your name in the chat. Just say hi, howdy. We got a great group of people. We got, you know, pro storyboard artist Eric Yamamoto hanging out with us tonight. We got Maria, who's been joining all of our live streams, and other friends. So if you're joining in, don't be shy. Join into the, let me know that you're hanging out with us tonight, so I can give you a howdy and say hello and thank you so much for joining. You know, also if you're watching this on the replay, appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to watch old Paul here do some sketching here, and hopefully you're getting some great value out of our live sessions here. But I do appreciate it if you can take a moment and subscribe to the channel. It helps us support me and help the channel and help us grow and help make the awareness out here for visual storytelling to help other artists like yourselves out there. So no matter what you're doing, a lot of us are in, you know, either in filmmaking, comics, you know, animation, music videos, you know, storytellers, visual illustrators, and there's a lot of different folks. So Paper Bagger, how you doing? Welcome. First time I've seen you on the chat, so thanks so much for joining us. Paper Bagger, what are you interested in learning about, and what are you trying to pursue? Drop it in the chat. But right now we're working on facial expressions, and did a quick little study here of my sort of version of Danny Trejo. So I'm trying to do you justice, Danny. So, okay, so we talked about sort of a flat image in terms of what we're trying to do. So let's go and explore what can we do with this face to make it a little bit more interesting. Maybe we'll just drop it down in sort of a, you know, if we're looking real quick, let me drop a new layer on here. Let's get that, you know, in here a little bit more of a 3/4. HMT, hey, what's going on? Glad you can make it in. Cool. I got a great group of folks in here. Thanks for joining in, HMT. Okay, so we sort of got this Danny Trejo character, so let's sort of play with him a little bit. Throw a new layer on there. Let's get some cool expression. Let's give him some sort of like attitude and like, man, what am I doing here? Why are you drawing me, Polly? And so, just drawing here. We're just freewheeling this, getting this down. Give it a little bit of dimension here. We can do something with his mouth here. We could do a lot. So we made it a more interesting, dynamic shot by doing it at 3/4 a little bit. And, you know, we're in here doing that. Another little tip and trick, if you're in Photoshop, that you can do too. So let me copy this. Let me see, here we go, him here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to duplicate that layer. Bada boom, bada bing. And then we're going to show you a little trick I was playing around with. So let's grab our Danny and put him right here. So we have that same shot. We could do all different things. And this is what's great about Photoshop, and I have fun knocking stuff out too, because I can, you know, if we want to get a little bit more extreme in those shots and stuff like that, I can go in there, I can scale Danny, do some stuff. That's what makes it fun working digitally, you know. If I'm trying to get Danny in there, get him a real, you know, you think about the shot itself, you know, he's more menacing, more powerful, you know, in this particular shot, you know, and then let's just finish it off. Sort of got a cool little point I'm trying to make here too. So, you know, when he's taking up most of the screen, you got sort of a power shot here. You got like, man, he's taking it, and you're thinking you're in the movie theater, and this character is taking up a majority of the screen. We're focused on the eyes, you know, those type of things. That's something we can do there too. And then also too, let's do one more shot here, but I wanted to show you something over here. And so when you get stuck with those flat shots and you're like, oh, I need to quickly do something cool and move this around a little bit. Let's grab our Danny character here and move him back down here, okay? Whoop. Okay, let's get that zoomed in a little bit. Move you over. Okay, so we have the Danny Trejo character I created right there. Okay, another thing we can do too is, and this is a fun little trick. So if you got sort of a boring shot and you're like, oh man, what am I going to do with this? Why don't you try doing the selection? You can do it with the eyes, you can do it with the face, but let's just grab his face. Okay, so we got to have the face of the character selected, and then I can come over here and transform tool. So I go over to edit, transform, warp, and then I can start sort of in a sense pulling a little bit of puppetry, you know, with this particular character, and making this sort of interesting. How can I, give him sort of an interesting look? Give him more attitude. And let me close up. Let me do a little bit closer. I can zoom in on him as we're changing that character around. We can do, some different things. And if you think about it, with this warp tool, we can have some fun with this. We can and use this tool, and you can sort of, in a sense, it sort of like makes the face sort of play doughy, and you can sort of massage it around and try different things. So if you're trying, you got a flat image and you're like, man, I got to do something cool with this, but I got to do real quick. I'm on a deadline. Maybe I'm getting really pissed off looking. Instead of sitting there drawing this for a really long time, you can do something like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and okay that right there, and then what I can do is simply just go and lessen the opacity of this particular character or that layer, and then go back in there and then sort of quickly just redraw this real quick, or just leave it as it is. If I'm trying and I gotta, say Eric or I get like a huge sequence, and we got to do 1,000 something shots or 1,000 shots, and we're sitting there jamming through these things. That's why I'm sharing some of these tips and tricks, like, boom, how do I get some basic gesture out of that? So we took, just to recap real quick, friends, we took a simple flat image. Let me throw a layer on this real quick, or I got the layer on there. Let's say that this is where our first attempt right here. First attempt. It was okay. It's okay. It's not bad. It'll get away with it. He's just sort of going, it's flat though. Okay. And then we tried it so a second time over here. We have a 3/4 view of Danny here. Drew a little different. A little different in that. And then over here, we tried it a third time. There's not a lot of space in between here. Danny's character is almost the full screen for the close-up. He looks powerful. He's dominant. He's dominant. He is the key focus. That character is, bam, he's taking up that screen. And then we were playing around with what we were just doing here is using the warp tool here in Photoshop to create some emotion with simply by just pulling the warp tool around and just having some fun with it. So I don't know, have you guys tried this before? If you have, let me know if you've tried this before in the chat. I'm gonna see what we got. So like I said, Paper Bagger just joined us. HMT joined us. I do have interest in storyboarding. I'm glad I found this to learn some. Yeah, definitely. Throw any questions in the chat, and I'd be happy to share with you. And Paper Bagger also said, watch the other streams, but got no chance to chat. Well, hey, today's your lucky day, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to come and hang out with me, and sincerely appreciate it. And I'm glad you're part of our group here, Paper Bagger. So thanks so much. Yeah, please don't forget. I invite you to share your images that you're creating from these lessons onto my Instagram channel. Just DM me, throw me a picture. If you got to see my story, my Instagram story, I shared Maria's work from this last Thursday when we were talking about drawing in silhouette. She created some great imagery there, and if it's still up, if not, check out her Instagram on there. If you want to drop it in the chat, Maria, if you want to put your Instagram handle on there so people can check out your work too, feel free. This is a community that we're trying to build, and feel free to share on there too. So as I'm drawing away. But if you're getting some great value out of these live streams, please please take the time for a moment and subscribe. Don't forget to click that bell notification button so it reminds you when Polly's up on the live stream again, and it helps me and helps support this growing channel. So do we choose the angle according to our personal feelings, or is there any other formula? Great question, HMT. I would put it to this. Get hired for a project. Either you're working with your director or you're working with your client. Same thing would be if you're working in animation or feature film or whatever it might be. You're going to have your shooting script or your script. If it's a live action film, you're going to be utilizing your shooting script. There's all different types of shooting scripts, by the way. Hopefully you get the one that's already sort of pinned down and the writer's sort of fully out, and it doesn't say action scene. And you're sort of creating it up. Sometimes they work that way. But some things are open to interpretation. Maybe you might be doing storyboarding on spec, and they haven't brought in any type of other pre-production artist. You might be the first person on the job working with the director and the screenplay writer. Maybe possibly working with the cinematographer. And you're putting those ideas together. And I think you're going to take a stab at it. But what I think is so important is to read your shooting script. If you have an actual shooting script, read that script as much as possible. I do a lot of thumbnailing on my scripts, and I'm thinking of shots I've seen, shots I love to do, those type of things. But I think the bigger thing is once you have the idea, it's that communication. I think I wrote this down of what are one of the 6 or 7 aspects of being a great storyboard artist, and that is communication. You need to be clear and concise, not only with your boards, but with the way you speak and the way you ask questions. And you're going to be sitting down or either face to face, or you're going to be on the phone or a Zoom call or whatever it might be, and you're working with your director or client. You need to ask those questions. Sometimes I've storyboarded right in front of the client, and I'm just sitting there sketching. That's why I think sometimes we don't have all these magical tools like Photoshop, and I know things are different today with iPads and using Procreate and stuff like that. But sometimes I'm just sitting out there, and I just want to be able to. Some of the greatest animated feature films were drawn on. Those shots were over lunch and dinner conversations and drawn on napkins. Some of the early work. In animation, for 3D animation, those type of films were drawn on some napkins, and those initial ideas are sketched out. So I always want to be ready to draw, and then I think it's clear and concise of your questions you're going to talk to your director and client to make sure you're both on the same page, because you got to remember, as a storyboard artist, we're working for our director or we're working for our client, and so we want to be clear and concise with them of what is their vision. A lot of projects I've been given, I will get what you call a pitch Bible. So the pitch Bible will be sort of a grab bag of different imagery, or if they have the pre-production work already sort of completed. And I've gotten it for a lot of indie films where I'll get the pitch Bible, and it'll give me a breakdown of what the costumes look like, what's the era. One was really in depth where it went into these are the types of shots we want to see. So I think it's that communication. And when you do your initial thumbnails, and you're turning in those thumbnails, it's having that conversation with the director that you're hitting the mark on terms of what you're trying to do. So when it comes to the angle and the particular shot, it might even be defined if it's going to be a close-up, a medium shot, extreme wide shot, a full shot, whatever it might be, or the mechanism of the angle of that shot. So there's a lot of questions to ask. Sometimes it's up to interpretation. So it's for you, it's how well are you putting your compositions together. It's how, not breaking the 180 rule unless it needs to be broken or whatever it might be. But those are types of things. So do we choose the angle? Yeah. So sometimes you will choose it sometime, but I think it's best to meet with your director or client and ask those questions. What is it? And that's where your film language and film history and the stuff you know how to do. It's I always joke around about the Adam Sandler film Jack and Jill, and they're sitting around the dinner table, and Jack, I guess Jill, Adam Sandler plays his own sister, and they're like, remember that movie? What was it? What was it? And they're joking back and forth that it was simple what the movie was, but the sister never got it. And then one of his buddies was in the film, and he's like Star Wars. There's a joke, but it's like when you're having that, and you're like, you remember that shot in Rear Window, and Jimmy Stewart is hiding, and he's in the wheelchair, and he's got his telephoto lens, and the gentleman who plays Perry Mason is on the other side, and he was the villain in that particular film, and here's Grace Kelly coming in, and I want that shot like that. So I think it's great to have those, and I've had a lot of those conversations both in the comic and film arena where you're jiving and you're having a jam session, you're coming up with some creativity, and you're like, remember that movie? So that's where that film knowledge and those type of things come into play. So I hope that answers the question, HMT, and gives you some different strategies on how to know what to draw. So let's go back over here to our little Polly. Little Polly, come back. Where are you? Boom. Okay, so we're back down to our Danny Trejo, and we were having a little bit of fun with Mr. Trejo here. And if you have, I'm a big Robert Rodriguez fan. I loved a lot of his films. I know when my kids were growing up, we watched a lot of the Shark Boy, Lava Girl, a lot of the Spy Kid movies as well. But I was when Quentin and Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez hit that brought a new fresh way of filmmaking and that sort of run and gun guerrilla filmmaking at the time. A lot of us were before that used to the big box office Spielberg type movies, or but at that time you started getting some offshoots of like a Fincher film, or and things like that. So you got some fresh things, and more of the street and the sort of other aspects of everything started coming out more. And I think I remember watching the original El Mariachi, which did so well for Robert Rodriguez, and then he redid it again with Salma Hayek and Antonio Banderas. Good stuff, and Cheech Marin, and then you got just great stuff, and really great way of looking at it when it came into that sort of Western gunslinger. That I guess there are a couple, Dusk Till Dawn with where Quentin started it with in there too. So good stuff. Just fun films. But anyways, let's get back to drawing here as we're talking films. So then I can just come back over and draw our character here. So we're going to work on him and add some extra attitude. Because I get a more pissed off Danny Trejo here. You're just watching me draw a freehand here. I'm not using. Hopefully, I'm doing Danny justice here. There we go. Now we got some good looking emotion in this one now. And then maybe we could add some sort of a just quick background. This is the type of stuff we're talking about. So you got some good emotion. You see some anger. You see some stuff going on with this particular character. And then let's change our tool here. Go to a quick little gradient and see what we can do. Okay, like that. And this is how simple I keep some of these shots going. So maybe I'll just grab him. You can just see how quickly we can just boom. Oops, I went crazy. Take a little bit. Now you sort of got the idea of what we're doing here. And here it gives you a quick shot. Of that, so a little bit of attitude. So we've done a lot right here just on using that tool to create a cool shot. Cool. So yeah, no problem. HMT. Ailey Tan Art. Hey, appreciate you joining in. Hello, been drawing as well while watching your videos. I love how informative they are, especially for an aspiring starter artist like me. Cool, I super appreciate you joining in. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Ailey. Well, thank you so much for joining in. Really appreciate it. I try to throw out some great processes and tips and tricks and sort of those cheat codes to help you out. So again, use that tool. Let's try another drawing, showing this one more time, just maybe a different picture here. In terms, we did a little bit of Danny Trejo, but gesture drawings. Right now we're focused on the facial expressions. Like I said, the window to the soul of the character. Close-up shot, is usually the most of the time. And we went from, looking at sort of a simple character, I did my rendition of like a Danny Trejo, and then we sort of went okay. We did an okay image. Yeah, we can pass by it, but then we sort of went, okay, that's a little flat. Let's do it at a 3/4 view. Let's do a close-up and make him a little bit more dominant, powerful, those type of things. Then let's give him, let's scrunch him up. Let's make it work. Let's have some fun with this. So let me change this a little bit. And so I hope this is beneficial to you friends out there. Let's draw some other stuff here. And throw a new layer on there. Cool, so I got a fresh layer. And see what else we're gonna draw. I'm gonna take a quick little drink of my drink. Now, I really appreciate everybody hanging out with me as we're doing these live streams. I have a great time doing these live streams. It helps me practice my craft. It helps me create some value for you at home that are hanging out and watching. And yeah, I'd appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Help support us, help support this, and help me grow this channel to where I think it can go. And you know, I have no problem sharing my experiences. If you'd like some feedback, feel free to drop me a line and a DM over on Instagram and share your artwork with me. I'd be happy to show it off on my Instagram channel, as well as you know, give you some feedback and some pointers in terms of you know, how I can help. Okay, so let's go into trying to think of what I'm going to draw next for you good friends out there in terms of drawing here. I'm just trying to think of some ideas. Yeah, because I originally got this idea from watching that show Hot Wings. And I thought it was interesting because everybody's eating these super spicy hot wings, and they're killing themselves eating this stuff. And you know, in terms of eating, they were just making all these crazy facial expressions. I thought, oh man, that's something that we would have fun to do. So let's start with this. Let's start with some basic foundation type of stuff here, of basic. So I'm going to just draw a bunch of shapes, okay? And this is a great exercise for you folks at home. I remember I was doing like a storyboard, not a storyboard, but a sketchbook challenge. And you were given so many circles. And I thought this is a great way to draw. Okay, so we get all these circles. We can lower the opacity of the circle a little bit, throw another layer in there, and then what we can do is let's just draw some facial expressions, and to help us as we're learning and drawing and putting that knowledge together, you know, it's like, so if you just want a typical, I'm going to sort of draw my, just a regular character here. Have some fun with this a little bit. And let's just draw, you know, we're just drawing a typical face right now. And this is just a typical run-of-the-mill sort of simple face. And head, you know, let's give her some. I just have to get used to drawing on the smaller tablet here. I have my big tablet next to me. I gotta start using it more often. This is your typical run-of-the-mill face. Maybe she has a earring here. It's sort of simple. Okay, so we got a simple face here. Not a lot of detail to it, but we got her there. Okay, let's sort of work on another face, and now we want to see some dynamicness to this face now. So some facial expression to it. The question from Ayla, Ailey is, what's your take on industry currently with all the layoffs and cancellations? What's my take on it? There's a lot of things that are competing with each other. We just got through both the Screenwriters Guild and the Actors Guild strikes. That put a whole halt, if we're talking anything, any type of production, whether it be for feature animation, for live action, television shows, those type of things. I've seen all these industries come to a complete halt. A lot of storyboard artists that are just fantastic freaking board artists were out of work. Okay, they didn't cross the picket line. There was nothing to work on. You need all these different groups of artists together to put these projects together. So everything was pretty much shut down, for about almost 6 months, and towards right before the holidays, everything sort of got finalized. Everything's being ratified, those type of things to get people back to work. Once that sort of settled up, you had a lot of projects that were still in post-production and hadn't launched yet and stuff, sort of finish up, and you had shows like I guess on Disney Plus. They just had the Echo series that just came out. I know you're in the process of the one I'm enjoying right now, Reacher, on Amazon Prime. You had a lot of movies that were on hold because the actors couldn't go and promote the movie, and some of them did fantastic well, whether it be Oppenheimer or Barbie, winning a ton of Golden Globes, and I think all the Oscar noms are about ready to go out right now. And then you had other films that, if you like the characters or not, just they didn't do so hot in the movie theater right now. And I know there's a lot of DC stuff that was already pre-done that's just not doing well. I was looking forward to the Flash movie, and I just watched it on Prime for the first time, and because I just wanted to see Michael Keaton back as Batman. I'm big when I was loving that stuff. I was always used to the Adam West Batman, and then when Michael Keaton 1989's Batman came out with Tim Burton directing, he had Nicholson as the Joker and Michael Keaton as Batman, and he got a lot of bad flack on why did you pick Beetlejuice or to be Mr. Mom to be Batman. He was fantastic, and I always put it out there. I'm a big fly fisherman, and I know Michael Keaton is, and if I ever got the invite to hang out with Michael Keaton, go fly fishing, I'm there, man. That'd be fun. I know he's big. There's a lot of actors out there. One of my good buddies over here, he taught Liam Neeson how to fly fish, and there's a bunch of pictures of Liam Neeson and him fly fishing. This is like over here in central Pennsylvania. This is like one of the, besides Montana, Colorado, and other places, this is one of the epicenters for fly fishing in the United States. So get to meet a lot of cool people. But things are slow right now. There's a lot of layoffs. I see a lot of people looking for work right now. Don't give up. We have there's a lot of battles with AI going on as well right now, with taking away possible jobs and things like that. I don't know what the future has, but I'll tell you what. We've been storytelling since the dawn of time. Whether if we were all sitting around early humankind around the campfire and telling stories, painting on walls in caves with barely little light, and using pigment on walls. We've produced hieroglyphs and build temples and pyramids. We've created the finest art of the Renaissance. If you're ever going to see the painting of the Sistine Chapel, or seeing the carved statue of David, art is always there. It'll always survive. And even when I got started, everything was cut and paste in graphic design, and then computer technology came along. And today we have, in 3D graphics, and you can create these astonishing worlds, where before everything was practical effects and models. And some of them still hold up today, like something like Star Wars or other films. They still hold up today, and it shows you the mastering the artistry of the craft. I think we're always going to be telling stories. We want to hear stories. We want to share stories, and eventually things will get going again, because I think people have a craving for stories in different forms. One of the difficult things right now with a lot of the theaters and stuff is this device right here. This device is where a lot of people get all of their information, and home theater systems are now good enough that you can get that movie experience. I'm a little old school with some of that stuff, and I enjoy going to the movie theater. There's nothing like having a fantastic of like-minded people in the theater having a good time. Some of my fondest memories are sitting there watching Raiders of the Lost Ark for the first time in the movie theater, seeing Luke Skywalker get his hand chopped off by Vader in Empire Strikes Back, or no matter what it is, in films. I think I always like getting wowed, and one of the wowed films back in the day, I was when Trinity, they started doing the effects for the Matrix and stuff like that. You've never seen that before, and it's amazing. But we love stories. But I'm gonna put this out to you. And then all the other folks that are sitting here watching, that are hanging on, watching the stream while we're drawing, and that is storytelling needs you, and I think that's what the difference is. A computer isn't you. We need great artists. We need great storytellers. We need great writers, and we need great actors. We need all the creatives that work together in a union to make great products, and the great products are great movies, fantastic television series that you want to watch, or streaming series, stuff that makes you laugh, it makes you cry, makes you feel action. I've always been a big Jean-Claude Van Damme fan. I'll have to throw up my photo. Jean-Claude's signed up for me one of these days. Brought to you by Jean-Claude Van Damme, JCVD. And I think the industry needs you, and it needs creatives out there that will not just do the copy of the same old, okay? Yeah, there is, if you do, Hero of a Thousand Faces, Joseph Campbell's work, or Save the Cat, or those different writings. You need great writing. You need great artists to bring the writing craft of word into visual. You need great cinematographers. You need great directors to pull the army of creatives together for a singular vision. You need great talent and acting to that you really believe these characters are real. Fantastic stunts, to visual effects, to costume, to music. You sit there and for any of us, we hear a John Williams score, and boom, you know where you are, and you know what's going on. But it's up to us to invent the new, look at it at a different angle, present it in a different way, and grab that audience. So that's why I'm sort of taking the time today to talk about facial expressions. Maybe we'll do gesture in a future one. Is we need to show it. The storyboard, and that's what makes me excited about being a storyboard artist, is that you get to be the first person to put the visual blueprint together of the final product. Yes, it will change, and we're a part of the bigger picture. But we're creating that blueprint to get everybody on the same page. It's like you're helping to work with the director or your client to put the game plan together. And when you're doing live action, that's where the live action is different than feature, than a televised series. Whether if you're working on Rick and Morty, that type of thing, or you're working on a comedy, everything is different. And when you're storyboarding, you can't. if you're doing live action, you can do some fun stuff. Like if we're doing the new Mad Max series or whatever, every shot was storyboarded. For that film, and I assume the same thing they did with this new one that's coming out. But I think you need to work and hone your craft. I think you need to tell stories in a different way that attract audiences. And, maybe the technology, like we were talking about phones and flat screen TVs, and those things will change, but we always need great storytellers. So the way that the story is being told to us might be different, but we need great artists and great writers, and so that creative ability, we need great creatives creating something new and fresh. It's like you watch 100 different shows, like why did that one talk to you? What did that one make you feel, or what did that make you laugh? And there's a lot to study with this craft. It's there's a lot to it, and watch that video on how to become a storyboard artist in my Mastering the Basics series, and I give you the 7 key points of what makes a great storyboard artist. So I hope that answers your question, and a little bit long-winded, but I think it's up to us as artists, and sharing and building our community, and working with each other, and making fantastic products together that people want, that audiences are entertained and want to come back and keep seeing. And that when you have a remake of a film or a part 2 or something, that's something you really want to see, and you're willing to put your hard-earned money down to do that. And I think about that when I'm storyboarding, is like, what gets me energized? What makes me excited about watching that movie? We all have that. There's maybe a theme song or a movie or a song or something that you love, and when it's on, man, you got to stop everything you're doing and go watch it. And there's certain movies out there that, man, if I'm just catching a little bit of that movie, I got to sit down and watch the whole thing. I just love that movie, and I love watching it. It makes me feel good, or I like the story. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. So back to let's bring Lily Polly back on, because we're here to talk about facial expressions. And we're talking about a lot of different things. I love these sessions because I'm here to help, and I hope you're getting great value out of these live streams. I have a blast doing them. Right now it's 1 in the morning for me right now, 1:08. I just got done with work, come home, have some dinner, talk to the family, and get going and bring this to you tonight. And then I'll stay up a little bit later working. So I have fun doing this, and if you're getting great value out of this, and our little sort of fireside chats as we're drawn away, please, I appreciate your support by subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to click that bell notification button, and I'll let you know when the next one's happening. Right now I'm coming to you Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and hopefully we can bring you some more content. I know Maria was like, bring on the videos, and not the live stream. So we'll do the live stream still. I won't stop doing it, but bring on the videos, okay, cool. I heard you. And then, grow this together. So again, drop a like and drop me a comment. I'd love to see your work that you're sharing with. Throw it over to my Instagram. So just went and wrote "Storytelling is You" on a sticky note and stuck it on my wall. Thanks so much. That's awesome. That's awesome. And check out that other video, the other live stream I did. Take massive action. Just look it up in my. It's one of I believe it was the first one for 2024. Take massive action in what you're doing. Because we need folks like you, and no matter what your level is. Hey, listen, storyboard artists, some filmmakers, you'll sit there and watch a Ridley Scott film. Ridley Scott sits there and storyboards everything out. Spielberg does the same thing. Robert Zemeckis, the same thing. Whoever it might be, and Wes Anderson, same thing. And then they go, and then they, like, Spielberg would then bring on the storyboard artist and like, hey, these are my initial thumbnails. Make it good for me now. Those type of things. So that's a great motto to have, but they need you. And no matter what your level is, there's somebody out there telling stories, whether it's a YouTube video, your own personal stories for your own personal films, or whatever it might be. So good stuff. Oh, I'm not going to stop the live streams, Maria. I love them too. I have fun doing them. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you with the videos. And yeah, my eldest son has been telling me in my ear all the time because I got everything ready to go. I got my video camera here. I just got I can I got my wireless deity mic system. I got everything going. I just need time to sit down and start hitting record and putting that together. So I'll let you know when they're done. But yeah, I won't stop the live streams. I enjoy them as well with you good folks, because in a video we can't chit chat a little bit, and as we grow this community, I'd love to put together a Discord channel and have some other ways that you and I and the rest of these fun people we can sort of hang out and chit chat and talk about storyboarding, visual storytelling, and help each other. So looking forward to it. So cool stuff. Let's go back to drawing real quick. Go down to Little Polly again. Where are you, Little Polly? There we go. Okay, so we're drawing some facial expressions over here. And I'm going to pull this back up. So we just sort of have a basic shot. We have this character right here we're drawing in. I'll draw different styles too, just not realistic all the time. Gotta get used to this. Come on, blue line. There we go. Just having some fun with this. Okay, so we got that. Skip her before we're done. Hands. Let's get somebody mean here. I'm just here drawing different facial expressions. This is a fun little exercise to do as you're drawing here. Finish off with one more female character. So just, yeah, practice this at your leisure and your studies and stuff like that. I'm not using any type of reference or anything. I'm just sort of going from my imagination as I'm drawing. As a storyboard artist too, I might knock out some quick thumbnails, and maybe then I'll go and I'll do some reference. Maybe I need to do something in the early, like a Western, a cowboy Western movie. And I'm going to have to go and do some research on the clothing, the way the women wear the hair, maybe some, use some reference, whether it be other films or if I do some reference and just some Google searches, some Pinterest searches to come up with something unique and fun in terms of what we're doing. So have fun with this, stretch yourself. And this little circle trick is sort of fun to do. You can pick up circles, use your basic primitive shapes, circle, square, triangle, and just have rows of them. And just sit there and come up with different facial expressions and how do things, is this more a demon seed child like the one I just drew, And what's she thinking behind? Why is she scared? Is she just like, looking around? Try different angles in terms of your drawings too. So let's draw some more here as we're having fun. Okay. Just sort of looking at thinking right now. I'm drawing. Just coming up with different. Just have fun with this. Have fun with this procedure and what we're trying to do. We have these characters here, and okay, so we have that line up here. Let's see what else we can do with this. And don't forget, let me go over that one more time. So let's just say we have an image. Let's move this over a little bit. Come on, you. Okay, like this. Okay, so let's draw something different. Maybe we'll draw. Oops. Let's draw something here, just a little different. I'll show you that little technique again on. This is where all the years of practice and everything sort of pays off for you. We have our butler with his comb over, whatever we're doing here. Make it a little bit more slicker. Something like that. Okay, so let's say we have this comb over butler that we just drew here. Okay, so okay, let's grab him there. And let's come on, you. What happened? Oh, there he is. Okay, so let's grab that second image of this, our comb over butler here. Put them together. And then what we can do, like I said before, we can grab his facial features here. And we could use the warp tool. We'd find that by edit, transform, warp. And we can start changing, like if I'm making him mean looking, let's say we want him not mean looking. Let's see, I'm trying to come up with something cool. Maybe he's like, try to create some sort of emotion. HMT, can you draw a kid crying? Yeah, we'll do a kid crying for you. Maybe he's like, so we're gonna make that work here. This is a fun little tool that we can use to create some interesting what you can do is do that, and then what you can simply do is just drop down the opacity of that particular layer. Like I said before, he created a basic interesting easy cheat. You made a simple drawing just really simple for yourself. So try this trick next time you're working or you're working on the next storyboard panel and you're trying to get something interesting there going. You're like, you'll remember old Polly sitting there going, oh yeah, by the way. Make it interesting. Give me something cool to play with here. So I hope this warp tool effect, and you can play with that warp tool too. We'll try it again on another live stream with our gesture drawings too. Maybe he's a pretentious butler. Let's see. Maybe he's the villain. So something simple, you know, in terms of, you know, what you're trying to do there. And, you know, we have our basic form and structure of what we're trying to do and tell those stories. So if you're sitting there and you're going, okay, well then, you know, you have your, then you can play around with your storyboard picture frame there. Okay, and shrink him down just a tad bit. Now you can sort of get your shot together for your storyboard panel. Your shot itself, and then maybe he has a dastardly. Look to him. Whatever it might be, and have some fun with that. Cool, we got some friends jumping back on that haven't been here for a while. So HMT said, can you draw a kid crying? Oh, this tip is cool. Yeah, try that warp tool. So again, you would see it by going over here to, let's just say we're going to be selecting something, edit, transform, and then warp. So in Photoshop, we're over here in Photo Shop. We go under the Edit tab, and then we would go from there. So Photoshop to the Edit tab to the, I believe it's the Transform. Yep. Tool, boop, and you would go under Warp. Okay, and with that, that's going to create a warp. So then you can warp that drawing in whichever way that you'd like. So if I selected this area, edit, transform, warp, and then I can have fun warping that. And you could use this for animation, you could use this all different ways. So a fun little tool, and I hope you can get some value out of that little cheat there too. So Yashava, hey, how you doing? Hi Paul, sorry for missing past couple of sessions, was busy with some work. Hey, no problem, happy to have you back. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Let me open up my bottled water here, my can of water. Take a quick sip. Cool. Okay, what do we got? 30 after. Okay. Let's. We were talking about a kid crying real quick. So let's do that. Okay. Get a little bit of space over here. Kid crying. There's a few ways we can draw this. And while I'm drawing a kid, just by off the cuff there, there's a few ways we can draw this character. We can either draw the kid with a a simple line tool, a circle. Children will have like a bigger head. The other way we can do this too is we can use that other trick we were doing and do it with a silhouette in terms of what we're trying to do. And we can cut that kid's the shape of that head down. And get that form. So there's a few different ways we can do that. And this is, go back to that lesson. So we can either, you sit there and you can design, like we were talking about this last week on silhouette, or just have the line art, in terms of what you're doing. So remember, the silhouette, your brain is going to look at the shape to tell us what it is. And if I add, and if I added a ear here and a neck, you know what I mean? It's like I can start figuring out it's the shape of a head, as we were talking about with silhouette. Okay, so a couple quick little cheats there. Let's go ahead and let me see a kid crying. Okay, you didn't define if you wanted a little boy, a little girl. Let's just sort of have fun with this and stuff. So I'm just having fun with this. I'm thinking of the kid crying. I guess the animation or the animator part of me sort of comes out. I start talking to myself and acting out the character. The other thing too with children, when you're drawing their heads, like big ears. Their heads are always You can have all sorts of fun. With this character too. Guess we're just having fun with this one. Hope this helps a little bit. This is just a rough. Maybe he was that bully kid. So we have something to do. Those freckly kids. Have some fun with that. I hope that helps out. Hope that's good enough for HMT. The crying kid. Good stuff. Any other questions out there? I'll leave it open to the chat real quick. Let me check a couple things here. Cool. Yeah, we got a lot of good info. I hope you're getting a lot of great info out of everything we're talking about tonight. I appreciate everybody hopping on and hanging out. Had Eric and Maria and Ali and HMT, Yashava, Paper Bagger. Got so many great people hanging out with us tonight. Any questions? Drop it into the chat. We've done quite a few drawings today of just different facial expressions and popping them in our storyboards. We had our little Danny Trejo we talked about line art, silhouette, a lot of good stuff in terms of what we're working on tonight. Any questions, just drop it into the chat. Love to hear it. See what's going on. Checking a couple things here. Good stuff. Hope you're getting some great value out of tonight. Oh, hey, HMT, hey, I really appreciate that. HMT says, facial expressions used to be difficult. Now, thanks to your videos, easier for me. Yeah, no, it's fun, and, let me go back to Big Paul here. Yeah, just got to put your practice in. Use some reference. You can either take pictures of yourself making, you know, crazy faces, or and draw from there. There's plenty of reference material sites out there and stuff like that to help you with your facial expressions. But if you think about it, and you're looking at your storyboards and stuff like that, and you're like, wow, that image really called, because each image needs to count. We don't just draw to draw because we love drawing. Of course we love drawing, but we're trying to communicate story. You need to be clear in your images, very clear and concise here, because at the end of the day, you're telling a story, and you need to be able to communicate through that image what your story is. That shot needs to count. It's you think about the back end, and that's what makes it different than comics or animated type of storyboarding or animation, for either not necessarily live stream, streaming, content, like something like SpongeBob SquarePants, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, something like Up, or Toy Story, something like that, versus a live action film. There's a lot of things you got to look at. What is the cost of special effects to have that big spaceship battle? What is the cost of all these actors putting together? So we as storyboard artists need to be clear and concise, that shot counts, and that we're telling a story in each one of those shots. And so we do that with facial expressions. It's that type of thing, and we need to be able to express that. I think what we'll do is we'll do another one on gesture and how to draw gestures, and that's why we studied gestures, and to make a dynamic image. And sometimes there's things we want to do as live action storyboard artists, but it's not feasible on a budget, and you can't be. This is a fun craft. But we're here to tell the best story, and even and it is a team approach. You have all these different artists working together to make this film come to life, or this feature animation come to life, or whatever the project might be to come to life. And as storyboard artists, we can't fall in love with that one image, because we're creating hundreds, thousands of images put together and timed out through animatics. So you can do all that stuff, and with your facial expressions. My point is that you need to have good storytelling. You can tell a lot of story through a facial expression, and you can tell a lot of story through dynamic body language in terms of your shot. If not, your shot is like a robot and I am moving over here. So use that little warp tool to help yourself be successful as you're creating your expressions. Let's see what else we got over here on the chat before we close it out for the night. Can you make a really cool sketchbook tour video? It's really cool. I saw it on your live stream. The exploration is really cool. Yeah, definitely. We'll save that, and we'll do it. We'll do it with some style and pizzazz. I think Ashava was talking about. I got like so many different sketchbooks. I've been drawing for so long, and my wife is always telling me clean everything up and everything, and I have cartoony stuff. When did I draw these? This is, oh my gosh, this is back in 2017. Holy smoke. And I sit there and I look at the character designs. Let me see if I can show some of this stuff. We'll do a sketchbook tour. Here's the good, the bad, the ugly. I was doing a lot of animation at the time. The style was there, and just like just different character styles I drew and stuff like that. Gosh, What else do I have in here? I just have so many different crazy drawings of different creatures and different styles I've gone through over the years. Let me see what else I got here. Trying to simplify. Here's like back in the day, Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock, you know. Just different stuff. And this is back in 27. Let's see what else I have in there. Let's see. And my styles have changed so much over all the years. You know, here's like some character design and stuff like that. What is this? 21617. Oh my god. This is like a space witch. You know, just different styles, very angular and stuff. Let me see what else I got in here for you. Just sort of picking out, and I changed it. I changed all the time. I'll be influenced by different styles and stuff. Let me just see what I have. Like, it's like sometimes I'm just simple. Let's see if I can see this or not. Simplifying different characters and stuff. Yeah, because I hope this is sort of fun. Yeah, we had to do a sketchbook tour. Let me just see if there's anything else that I like. Yeah, that's why a lot of you guys are like, oh, let's do, Paul, move from a little bit from live action and go into cartoon animation and things like that. We could totally do that. So I'm just looking through this real quick to see if I can see anything super cool for you guys. Different, yeah, just different styles of drawing. I know I got the black and white on, but just different techniques and different drawing styles, stuff I'm learning. But this is already so old. Oh my gosh. And watch that video I created on how to use your storyboard or how to use your sketchbook as a tool for yourself. You know. Let's see what else I got in there in this one. You know, I'm looking at some of the work here. It's like some of it is like Scooby-Doo, some of it is Paul Dini style. Just seeing if there's something that catches my eye. Like a lot of different styles. Holy smoke! I'm all over the place with different styles, and you know. And here's like just different. Just different things, different styles. Let's see what else I have. Oh, this one's sort of funny. What did I draw here? Holy smoke. Just like, just like, you know, just different cat characters. Take a lot of notes. Let's see what else I have in here. What else cool? Yeah, just different notes and different things and stuff like that. We'll have to. My wife usually sneaks little notes in there. Over the years, I'll keep her notes in my sketchbooks and stuff. Always positive. It's great. Yeah, we'll have to do that one of these days and just do a quick. Say, man, I got so many books here and storyboard books and comics and all sorts of stuff I've done. I'd be happy to share it. Maybe we'll just have a fireside chat, you know, and break this stuff out. Let's see what else we got. So Maria says, wow, whoa. Paper Bagger says, cool sketchbook. Yeah, thanks so much. Ali says, do you have a preference for either live action or verse animation? Wow, that's a good question. And then Ali said, I love the cat one too. Cool. Yeah. Which way do I want to go? Okay. Um, I like both. Let's just put it that way. I like both. When I first started coming up in the business, my just a quick, I'll go do a quick segue. Originally, when I went to school, I wanted to become a doctor. I wanted to become a physician, and I was doing a lot of medical illustration and that type of stuff. So realistic, and that's when like airbrushing and stuff like that came in. When you were doing your graphic designs, computer technology hadn't occurred yet. So there's a lot of painting and drawing. I took one animation class uh, for I think for my humanities, and I took one computer animation class. A buddy said, "Hey, take this computer animation class. It'll count as credits." And I was just trying to get credits. So I was like, "Cool." So I took this one class. It was the I don't even know if it was called multimedia at the time. It didn't even exist yet. And so I took this one computer class, and I became obsessed with animation. I always loved animation. Come on, who wouldn't like animation? This is all pre Toy Story and 3D animation, and before I think the first film that came out with 3D animation, it was the Young Sherlock Holmes movie. Um, Man, it didn't even exist. Everything was practical effects. We were talking about superheroes in 1989 Batman. To me, the original Superman for me was either the TV series on television, black and white Superman series, or it was Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve was Superman to me, and he could fly and he could do all these cool things. And now you got Henry Cavill and all these other folks, and a new Superman coming out that Gunn is coming out with a new Superman movie with the DC universe. It's like, okay, cool, but none of these things existed, and I took that one computer class, and I went to a school that there was no animation, it wasn't an art school or anything like that, and so I was in Northern California going to school, and so I'd always hang out in Berkeley and stuff like that. So I found the big book edition. Let me see if I have it in my library here. Give me a second here. Here it is. The Bible of all Bibles. And I read this book. I've read it so many times. This is the Disney animation, The Illusion of Life, and this book is probably worth quite a bit of bucks now. But I got this book a long time ago, and I've had so many notes I've written into this book, and started off on learning animation. Besides reading that book, did a lot of research into one of the early story artists, Bill Peet, and that helped me out quite a bit. And then the photographer Edward Muybridge, and watching his stop motion. I think the first I was big into westerns and Clint Eastwood at the time, and I think the first animation I ever did was my version of Hang 'Em High, and had all the horses running and everything. I did everything in Macromedia Director back in the day, and drew all the cells by hand. When I started on learning how to use computers and that type of stuff, I'm left-handed, and I didn't know that the mouse could be changed either side, so I learned how to draw with my right hand. So I was drawing all these animation frames with my right hand with my mouse, and doing all that, and that was just like absolutely crazy. So I'm sort of a crazy person when I'm drawing, because I can go do this at the same time, and but I usually draw with my left hand and work my mouse with my right. So I'm sort of like this type of crazy person. So it's fun, and I have fun with it. But I took that one computer animation class, and man, I was hook, line, and sinker. I took some, like I said, some drawing classes, painting classes in college. Did a lot of video production, did a lot of filmmaking. So a lot of cinematic studies, film history. Shot a lot of films, did a lot of my student films at that point in time, and sort of started my way that way. So wherever you start, we all start from somewhere. But over the years, I go back and forth between cartoon styles and realistic styles. I like both. I think some of I love a lot of the artwork. I love the a lot of the feature animation stuff out there is absolutely fantastic. For cartoons and stuff like that, I was a big fan of like the Regular Show and shows like Clarence or Star versus the Forces of Evil. I still go that way too and enjoy all that stuff, and not just all feature animation and stuff like that. But there's so much great content out there. Stop motion. I learned how to sculpt. I was doing creature effects and practical effects and things like that, which are all fun. But to me, it's like I love live action, and a lot of my pro friends out there I love making films. I love filmmaking, the process, and I can bounce all around. And I think that's what makes a great storyboard artist too, or a great artist, that you're always learning. You're not stuck in one discipline. And there's things I like, and I have sometimes I'll just do a realistic painting. I'm gonna pull out either my oils or my acrylics and paint, or pastels and things like that. But you'll see me sometimes if I'm just sketching. I'll be sketching just with my mechanical pencil on copy paper or my sketchbook. So a couple of the questions came up too. Paperbagger asks, might not be related question. How do you study the film or movies and able to explain why it works? I'm sure why it works. Totes struggle of MXD. Okay, I don't understand the last part, but I think when you study, okay, this is my my 2 cents on how to study a film. You go watch a movie or watch your favorite show or whatever. Go and enjoy it. There's a lot of artists that created this beautiful product, and go enjoy a film. Enjoy it for the entertainment value. Now, once you've consumed it and enjoyed it, now, how did they construct that? I would study the films that evoked something out of you. Study films that made you cry, made you vote for the underdog, pumped you up, made you want to come out and dance, made you feel something, or actually made you think. Think of those films. Okay, and as you have those films in your mind, go watch those films and watch that one sequence that made you feel that emotion. And from there, start breaking it down. Turn the music off, turn the sound off, watch it. Was it the sound that made you feel that way, or was it the visuals? So in our craft, we work with visuals. And with visuals, you can have mood, you can have composition, you can have depth, you can have subtext in terms of what we're trying to do. And what we're trying to express today with our facial expressions and drawing with that, we're trying to evoke some sort of emotion. We're changing the mood of the character. We're telling the story through the character's perspective. It's not just a flat 2D object. It's a 3D character in a 3D world, right? And we're putting the illusion, even though we're drawing in 2D. So use that little warp tool, little trick, friends, and have fun with that. And then go, and if it's a storyboard or a visual gag that made you laugh or made you cry or whatever it might be, start sitting there and what we call reverse storyboarding. Watch it frame by frame by frame. Draw those shots and put it together. Not that you're going to use that and copy that and show it as, oh, that's my portfolio piece of this fantastic, Edgar Wright doing Baby Driver, and I'm going to copy his work. No, don't do that. But definitely go reverse storyboard it and learn from it. Why did Edgar pick those shots? How did Edgar tell that story? How did Baby have emotion, to get away from the villains in the movie? Or how did you get excited to be, or you're watching one of the, the Vin Diesel movies, Fast X and all these different movies, right? You get an exciting car chase, or, especially like James Bond movies, the Daniel Craig series, or even with Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan, whoever else, out there. But it's like you always got this super cool action sequence, and then James Bond is hanging out. So if those the sequences and you enjoy those, reverse storyboard it out. What made you feel that way? Was it the da 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 the music of James Bond, or was it when you hear the march of Indiana Jones, dun 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 dun? You know, is that what it is, or is it the visuals that you see? Spielberg is a master at the mastering of the long master shot, and you know, fantastic storyboard artist and filmmaker. And you sit there and watch his films, you know, and it's just like, wow, you know. And it's not just him. Watch all different types of films and different, you know, filmmakers and cinematographers, and learn. But that's how you would learn. So yeah, study. That's how you'd study, and study the classics. Akira Kurosawa, Seven Samurai, you know, His Girl Friday, you know, Orson Welles, um, you know, studying other films, anything Hitchcock, you're always going to learn something like that. You know, what's the difference between a TV show, you know, versus a film? You know, how do they put that together? You know, study those films. Study, you know, David Fincher, Wes Anderson, Scorsese, Coppola. You know, there's so many, and there's a lot of new directors out there. Villanova. You know, there's just so many great, you know, directors out there. I think I've told the story that I remember in my high school. I took a high school art class, and you know, I was partnered up with somebody at my table or my desk. There was like two artists at one desk, and who was I sitting to? Who was went to the same high school. I think it was a year behind me, but it was you know, going to trying to remember. Len Wiseman was my art partner there at the station. Len Wiseman has gone on to write all the Underworld movies, and with Kate Beckinsale and all that stuff, and gone on to do Die Hard movies and all sorts of cool stuff. So you know, you don't know when you're meeting people, but it's fun there. But find those films that you enjoy, and find the sequences that mean a lot to you, and then sort of reverse engineer them, and how do they get that, and then use that storytelling structure in your content and the way you storyboard. Okay, I hope that answers the question, Paperbagger. Yashiva said, I saw Craig Mullins live once. Yeah, he used to paint with the mouse, and I'm like, how are you guys doing that? Yeah, we used to do that. There was no, you know, these Cintiqs and drawing tablets didn't exist. We literally drew with our mouse, and I still do it today. Every once in a while, I'll sit there and I'll draw with my mouse. But there's no need for it so much now. And then now you have iPads and things like that where you can draw with your stylus and have different fancy stylus. That's one thing I got to eventually get one of these days is an iPad with the Procreate tool, so I can be on the fly. I usually have just paper and stuff like that. You know, I'll be sitting there doing, you know, different. Let's see if you can see this or not. Different drawings and stuff like that. I'll just be doing up on paper. I think yesterday I was doing them. Last night I was just sketching here at my table. I was drawing, you know, samurais are all the craze right now. So I was just drawing a bunch of different samurais and things like that, so you can sort of get an idea of stuff that I'm sketching down and throwing down. But it's fantastic. I'm glad you got to see Craig Mullins. Fantastic artist, you know, yeah, that's cool. So yeah, watch people, learn from them, you know, put those into your ways that you draw and stuff like that. So anywho, any other questions? I'll leave it up for just a second more before I close it out. It's 2 in the morning for me. I got to get up early again and hit it, but wanted to leave it open for a couple more seconds here before I close it out for the night. Again, if you'd like to get in touch with me, I'll leave my info right here real quick. Where is that? Yeah, again, my name is Paul Angeli. I'm a live action storyboard artist. You could reach me via email for business inquiries, and also if you want to get in touch, and that's mr.paul.angeli@gmail.com. Also, you can check out my website at www.paulangeli.com. And again, you can reach me on Instagram. Just look up Paul Angeli and reach out. Feel free. Very accessible. So DM me. love to see your work and stuff like that, and be able to help you out a little bit. And you can also follow me here on the YouTube channel. If you enjoyed today's broadcast, I appreciate you, subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to turn that bell notification button on to remind you of when, or I'll remind you when my next video posts. Hopefully we can see each other. Remember, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays are days to hook up and be welcoming to you. Don't forget to like and drop me a comment. It helps to support the channel as well. I hope you had a great night, and I really appreciate all of you friends out there joining me. So thanks again to my buddy Eric Yamamoto. Got Maria on. Thanks so much. And Maria's been on quite a few of these, so thanks so much, Maria. I can't wait to see your work. I got Ali Tanart. Thanks for joining in. HMT, Yashava, Paperbagger. A lot of great people, great artists, and I hope this was helpful to you. I enjoyed being with you tonight. You guys have a lovely rest of your weekend, and I will catch you next week. Till then, I'll talk to you later. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.